Good afternoon, YouTube. So, I am here today because I'm a little bored and wanted to check in with everybody, see how everybody's doing, um, and seeing, I don't know, just how Corona's changed your lifestyle. And I was trying to do this on Insta, but there's a major problem with Instagram. I don't know, it has connection failure stuff and it won't load my live streams. My network is good, full signal, like all that stuff. So I don't know what's going on with Instagram, but it's happened before, and I just, I don't know. I tried it again. So it acted up a while ago, and then I was able to get in and do a live with no problem. And then today I go to do a live again, and it's like this connection failure thing. It gets stuck in a loop, and I can close it and retry. Yeah, no, I'm in Instagram jailhouse, so to speak, I guess. I don't know. I was going to do one of those dual things and bring Matt in, and we were both going to kind of do it, but it doesn't look like that's going to work. So I was really just going to kind of talk to everybody about how different things are for us anyway in trying to do our snake thing, and some of the adjustments we made with social distancing and all that, and still selling animals. What's up, Matt? And welcome, Dave. Dave is here from Baller's Garage. So we were going to talk, and I was going to try to bring him in and have both of us kind of talk a little bit back and forth about with trying to behave and do our social distancing, what we've done here, and what life within our world looks like. What's up, TNT? Welcome. So to kind of lay the groundwork for you guys on how we do things here, and I don't really think we've talked about this too much. So I have a Cape style home, and my kids, my son is married, and what's up, Dinos? Welcome. And he's off, and he's in the service, he's married, he has his own kids, so that room was free. My daughter went off to college, and she's home for a short period of time, so I actually gained that room too. So there's two rooms upstairs that are 14 by 21, if you will, and we have both sides that are open. We primarily have all the snakes in one side at the moment, and what we've done so far is all the snakes are housed here. Matt, which lives about a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles away from here, has an 8 by 12 shed, and that shed has been converted for our rodent barn, if you will. It's the rodent shed, which plans for this fall is to hopefully, if things go right and as planned, we are going to open, well, not open, but we were going to blow out the back end and make it about 9 feet longer. So it would have been 8 by 21, but the width is kind of tight when you put rodent racks in there that are roughly 2.5, well, about 2 to 2.5 feet deep. And then once you have some insulation or boarding or whatever interiorly, you end up with only about 32 to 34 inches from rack to rack. So you can just get the tubs out. Luckily, what's up, Leon? Welcome. Luckily, Matt's really small, so it kind of feels like he has the full 6 foot of space that you would normally need, which is why I can't work in there, because, I just, my elbows, it's nice having somebody short in stature where spaces feel bigger. But anyway, instead of that, which didn't really make sense, but his gut gets in the way, right? That's kind of funny. But there is space on the property. We were actually running numbers and contemplating either adding on or building a whole new building for rodents. And that's the way we're leaning at the moment. So what looks like it's going to happen is we're probably going to build a 12 or 14, probably like a 12 by 14 something like that, 10 by 14, 12 by 14, something fairly long and wide, and get the width that we need. That's what she said. So that there's space to move, and we can add on and produce more stuff that we're going to need as far as rodents go. The current shed will end up be used initially for storage. Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, I mean, you can never have too many rodents. What's up, Hector? Welcome. So initially that'll be storage. We'll put, bedding and food and stuff in there. And if we happen to outgrow the new shed that we're going to build, then we might have to move back up there, that kind of thing. But initially it'll just be storage. So on a normal basis, we feed our animals. Well, basically, we feed twice a week. We feed all the hatchlings that you guys see behind me here, typically on Wednesdays, and then the adults. So there's 80, 22, probably about 100, 100 or so, maybe a little over 100 sub-adults, adults. Those are fed on Saturdays. So we're feeding 2 days a week. So for us to feed, yes, that clutch is all out of the egg, and I am waiting for them all to shed. So yeah, social distancing is tough because what we've done, where Matt would normally gather, which is, this process is still a pain in the butt. Storm breed. Yeah, we've been contemplating doing a tour. We've, in a small confined space like a shed, which is, 8 by 12, you got to do things very, very calculated and specific because your temps have to be regulated. We learned the hard way. We used to use air conditionings and different things like that, which we don't use anymore because, what's up, Lorga? Welcome from Russia. Not from Russia, but welcome to you in Russia. But with a small confined space and you're doing rodents, it's tough. You have to really manage that environment well, and exhausting air and getting fresh air into there is something that definitely has to be done. And in the wintertime, especially in Connecticut in the Northeast, where we could have days that may say on average we're in the probably low teens. There will be days that'll be single digits and maybe even negatives at time. But for the most part, we haven't gotten there with cycling air in the winter. We have a plan to do stuff, which we're going to do, but again, I'm kind of getting sidetracked. But we are on a normal basis feeding snakes twice a week between hatchlings and adults. So what Matt does is, depending on which day that is, he's going to gather a mass amount of rodents of the appropriate size, and big containers, and sometimes it's multiple containers depending on which size rodents we need or different types of rodents we need. And he'll bring them over. We'll haul them up here. We feed everything, kind of hang out a little bit, get everybody, enough time to eat or do whatever. What's up, Brewer? Welcome. And then we'll go back through everything. We'll pull all rodents out, and they go back into containers, and then they go back to his place and, end up wherever they end up. And then the following feed day, rodents are brought for that size, and we do the same process. So with having social distancing, the process is kind of similar, except for Matt drops the stuff outside, and then I go pick it up, and I'll feed, and either most times he'll come back and pick them up to go back to the shed, or they'll get brought over there. The fuzzies and pups are kind of the same thing, where we'll feed, and then they go back so they can go back to their mother or whatever and keep feeding. What's up, Patent Pending? Welcome. So social distancing is, really kind of changed a little bit in the way we do that. The biggest thing is Matt really doesn't get to come over here and, see his snakes and hang out with that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna, for winter options, we found like a heat cord, and we're gonna wrap the heat cord that'll be temperature controlled around a 4-inch metal ductwork. That'll come in, it'll wrap around the building and drop to the floor. That'll be wrapped with insulation. And then on the opposite of where it drops down, on the opposite end, we'll have a small low volume fan that'll exhaust air out. And that cord that'll wrap that entire distance will hopefully heat up enough of the air coming in so that it's an appropriate temperature when it gets into the building. So it'll be like a passive heat exchanger. Because up here in the wintertime, you just can't run a fan on any level. You'll freeze out your rodents, and any pups or babies you're going to have are going to die. And that air exchange is really important because we've been running our normal fan cycling, and that cycle has created an increase in breeding as of lately. But the same problem is if it runs too much, it gets too cold and you can lose babies. Yeah, I used to do electrical work. I did electrical work with my old man for like 16 years. So the electrical component piece I have down. I've seen enough regular construction. And with shark bite fittings, man, anybody can be a plumber, just about. Hopefully, yeah, with this new project, hopefully we'll have enough space to where, we'll be able to sell some rodents as well. But we're not really concerned with that for the most part. I mean, I'm really just looking to feed our stuff. If there happens to be enough to sell, either we can have somebody come over and clean and work for rodents, or we can sell some small stuff to some local guys here, and just maybe pay for food or something. Like, I'm not overly concerned or worried about trying to turn that into a business. But have any of you guys had to do anything different to change the way you're doing business, with, like, not doing business, but the way you're functioning with social distancing and a lot of places being shut down and that kind of stuff? Is everybody able to get rodents and food and stuff like that? Any shortages in regard to that? Yeah. We get all our rodent food and bedding locally. So the rodent food comes from a local breeder. So that we haven't had a problem there yet. And bedding comes from like a feed store, and that's still kind of essential. So we've not hit any speed bumps with that either. So it's been pretty good so far. Just minor changes that we've made. Yeah, Dino, us too. Yeah, I've seen the mini split stuff, but that is, I would be okay if that was like the snake room. But rodent urine, man, is super acidic, and the amount of dust they produce. What's going on, you balls? Or Lou balls? Like, we were buying AC units, and they would last literally almost a year on point, and then they're just junk. They don't work anymore. So I don't know that a mini split would be any better, because essentially you're doing the same thing. And if you look at any of these guys that are breeding rodents on a large scale, a lot of them are just moving air. Yeah, something like that, like a negative pressure room. Yeah. And like, if you look at some of Justin's videos, they breed a lot of their stuff. And really he's got massive fans, and he's just moving air. He says it's all air movement, just keeping them cool. It could be 90 degrees out, and as long as you move enough air, like, you're fine. Yeah. Yeah, we went through a lot of AC units trying to figure a lot of this out, and now we use like a whole house fan. It gets mounted in the wall, and there's vents on the other side, and you just turn it on, and it just cooks the air across the the building. basically you're creating like this wind tunnel effect, and you're just drawing air across all of them all at the same time. I do. I have a male left. He's looking really good. He's right behind me here. Where'd he go? So, nice little belly. Lots of great color right there. And finally, I'm doing one of these and the lighting looks good. Yeah, came out pretty good. It was nice. Markings are really nice. Yeah, he's definitely, this is a great animal right here, Leon. And this orange is just getting better and better too, so. Yeah, so yeah, he looks really good. He's a little dark on the top, but again, with, I don't know, he's 3 sheds now. This color is just getting more and more orange, you know, from the belly all the way to the back. Yeah, exactly. It's, and you know, when we're talking about running fans, I mean, you know, for that heat exchanger kind of idea, we're really only talking about 400 to 600 CFM fan. So when you're looking at the total volume in a room, you know, that's 8 by 12 by 8, it's really not that much. And that those heat cords around that ductwork should, by all means, you know, be able to handle that pretty easily, in theory. So, you know, we'd have to, you know, do the practice and see what happens. But that's really all I had. I just wanted to spend a few minutes and see how everybody was doing, and just hoping everything's okay on your guys' end and everybody's doing well with all this and family's all healthy and that kind of thing. But yeah, so definitely air circulation inside and then exhausting stuff outside. Yeah, the biggest thing from what we've done as far as research that most people have told us. So you got your ratios got to be right. You can't have too many or too little in a tub, otherwise you won't get the, you know, the girls won't be pregnant, you know, often enough. And then, you know, keeping those females separated so that you know, so that they have the space they need, so that when they give birth, it's pretty one-on-one. And then until they're about fuzzies and crawling around where the babies can move around themselves, and then you can like group a couple females together and they can, you know, kind of take care of all the babies together. If you put groups of them together before then, what happens is the females get possessive over the babies and they'll start stealing babies, and then you're going to have stuff, babies are going to die off because they're not going to be fed and they can't move to go get to the other female. I missed that comment there, Leon. Sorry about that. I don't, maybe Matt can grab that. Yeah, and then you lose them all because they're not feeding well. But yeah, so short and sweet today. I really appreciate everybody like just swinging by. What's going on, P&L? We were just hopping on real quick and just talking about some of the differences. Next clutch due is around 5/5. I have to look exactly. I think it's actually the 6th, which is a Wednesday, and I don't like to do anything on Wednesdays because of Reptiles Unplugged. Friends of mine do a YouTube interview, and they interview different people and stuff. So with that one landing on that day, I'll probably either do the day before or the day after. I got to see what works, but that's probably where I'll be. And we have our next video coming up on Tuesday is sexing. So how we pop our snakes here. So definitely, you know, check that out on YouTube. So you should get noticed on that one. And if you've done the bell and all that stuff. Yeah, we got 2 clutches actually that week, so we'll definitely be cutting a few of those. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, and I'm getting text messages from work, so where I would be on here for probably another 30 minutes, um, I have to actually I have to hop off so that I can answer back to them and square that stuff away. Um, I help manage a ambulatory surgery center, so my input is, I guess, desperately needed at this point. So I'm gonna, yeah, yeah, just about anything to do from all the boredom. There's a lot of people that are still under house lock, if you will. Yeah, everything is relatively good here. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably come back once I deal with that and hop back on and just kind of hang in BS a little bit, and probably get a little bit of a refill. But yeah, so thanks for jumping on, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.